doing, friends? How we doing? Can you hear that? Hear that rain? It is flat, nasty today. Nasty. But I got asked about why we log uphill most of the time, and wouldn't it be cheaper and more cost effective to take stuff downhill because you've got gravity. When you're bringing stuff uphill, you're pulling it all the way. When you're taking it downhill, once the weight of that log, there's several different factors why. This one, when they laid this unit out, this road was already here. And where our buffer strip at the bottom there, that is a Class A stream, a fish-bearing stream. So we have to have full suspension of logs across that creek, which absolutely can be done. Like I say, the road was already here, so the cost, there is a road down there that they're going to walk the cat in on, but they've tank trapped it. So the cost of having to put that road back together, and it's a dirt road, or actually it's a very old, hang on. Okay, so we're going to start over again. I know you guys won't notice it because I'll edit it all out, but this is the fourth time I've started this video. Anyway, so I got asked about why, or would it be cheaper and more cost effective to take the wood downhill rather than up? And yes, gravity, working with you, you'd be less fuel, so on and so forth. Logs would pull a lot easier. But there are several different factors on why we would bring it uphill or take it downhill. We'll just use this unit as an example. That buffer strip down there has a Class A stream in it, which means it's a fish-bearing stream. So we have to have full suspension of logs over the creek, even taking it up or down, well, taking it downhill, it'd be hard to have full suspension actually. And I'll show you why here in just a second. So that's one of the reasons. Reason number two, this road was here. So there's no cost of building a road to put us up here. There is a road down there that they're going to bring the cat in on, but it's an old road that they would have to re-rock for us to truck off of it. So there's several different factors in that. I know up in Canada and Alaska, I spent a little time in Alaska. I have not spent any time in Canada. They do a lot of downhilling because of the road systems. They don't want to pay the money for the road, and it can be very productive. And we have done a lot of downhilling, which brings up another fact. If you let's say, for example, you started logging 10 years ago, and all you've ever done is thin. And they do some downhill thinning, but it's a whole different ballgame. But anyways, if you're not used to downhill logging, you can get yourself in trouble in a hurry, because you start pulling them logs down, and most of the time, if it's not fell side hill, you're gonna have every log by the top. So you're sucking this log downhill, and here it comes. If your yarder's not setting back, to where it comes up to landing and sets down, or if you're bringing your logs right straight downhill you can get tops right to the cab. It has happened. They've had tops go through loaders. They start pulling a log down. The log starts going faster than the rigging, so it slides down. Choker comes up tight, and then maybe it slows down. So the rigging starts catching up to it. When it does, it gets slack in the choker. Choker either comes unbelled or it opens up and the log takes off sliding. So now you've got a log that is not hooked anymore and is, doing Mach 5 and cannot be controlled. What do? Hopefully you get on the radio and start yelling at a shovel operator, or you get the hell out of the cab. Or what if you don't see it come unhooked, it hits a stump, veers off to the side, and goes through the side of the loader while a guy's loading a truck. So if you're not used to downhill logging, you can get yourself in trouble very, very easily. But like I say, there is several different factors on why. You know, cost of road maintenance, you know, all that stuff. And so I'll get the video of downhill on this camera. But anyway, so if the yarder was sitting down there in the bottom, even tail holding up here, when they got to that creek, to go across that creek, well, you'd have to have your skyline so tight, or if you were rider blocking, you'd be running your haul back so tight to get, yeah, it'd be tough to get full suspension going across that, unless you had a 100-foot tower. If you had a 100-foot tower, there's several different options. You could set on one of them other landings, but then you'd be taking it uphill again. So, yeah, that's, you know, one of the biggest factors is the full suspension. Now, that doesn't mean full suspension over the top of the buffer. That's just full suspension over the creek. So as you're bringing them, and we don't have any logs on that side of it, so that's not an issue. But if we did, as we come through that buffer and across that creek, you know, you're going to have where your skyline lands, you know, it's going to have a hole for that to come through. But they don't want your logs swinging side to side and tearing up a bunch of trees and knocking limbs in there. So, you know, you'd have to slow down, bring them across. There's just a lot to it. You know, a lot more to the decision whether to uphill or downhill log. All right, so I'm going to try to get, it might be too dark, but yeah, see, if we had a yarder sitting down there at the bottom, it'd be really hard to get full suspension across that draw going down, even hanging up here. So, you know, that's why I say there's a lot of different decisions and factors, a lot of different factors in the decision on whether to take something uphill or downhill. I hope that helps.